Your name is James Sunderland, and you've just arrived in Silent Hill. The fog is thick, obscuring your vision and your thoughts. You're here because of a letter from your wife, Mary. But Mary died 3 years ago. As you step into this abandoned town, you can't shake the feeling that something is terribly wrong. What brought you here? What secrets lie hidden in the mist-shrouded streets of this abandoned town? Welcome to an exploration of the psychology behind Silent Hill 2. In this video, we'll delve deep into the themes of guilt and punishment that permeate every aspect of the game. We'll examine how the town of Silent Hill itself becomes a manifestation of the protagonist's inner turmoil, and how the game's narrative grapples with different theories of punishment. By the end, you'll have a new appreciation for the profound depths of this horror masterpiece. Silent Hill 2 begins with James Sunderland arriving in the eponymous town, drawn by a letter supposedly written by his wife Mary, who died 3 years prior. As James explores the abandoned streets of Silent Hill, players are immediately struck by the oppressive atmosphere. The town is shrouded in a thick fog that limits visibility, creating a claustrophobic feeling of isolation. This fog serves as a metaphor for James's clouded memories and his inability to face the truth of his past actions. One of the most iconic moments in the game occurs when James encounters Pyramid Head for the first time. This monstrous figure, with its massive pyramid-shaped helmet and wielding an enormous blade, becomes a recurring nightmare throughout James's journey. Pyramid Head's relentless pursuit and brutal actions symbolize James's subconscious desire for punishment, a manifestation of his guilt given terrifying form. Another unforgettable scene takes place in the Brookhaven Hospital, where James meets Maria, a woman who bears an uncanny resemblance to his deceased wife. Maria's presence is both comforting and unsettling, as she seems to embody aspects of Mary that James longed for but could never have. The hospital itself, with its decaying corridors and nightmarish creatures, represents James's distorted memories of Mary's illness and his own role in her suffering. The town of Silent Hill itself can be interpreted as a physical manifestation of James's guilt. Every monster he encounters, every puzzle he solves, and every location he explores is a reflection of his inner turmoil. The abandoned Lakeview Hotel, for instance, holds the key to James's repressed memories. As he navigates its decaying halls and confronts the truth in room 312, players witness the full extent of James's guilt and the devastating consequences of his actions. While James' journey is the primary focus of Silent Hill 2, the game also explores guilt and punishment through other characters, each grappling with their own demons. Angela Orozco, a young woman James encounters throughout his journey, is a tragic figure whose story revolves around trauma and self-blame. Her interactions with James reveal a history of abuse and a deep-seated belief that she deserves punishment for her past actions. Angela's guilt manifests in the form of oppressive heat and flames, symbolizing her internal torment and her inability to escape her traumatic memories. Eddie Dombrowski, on the other hand, represents a different facet of guilt, one characterized by aggression and denial. As James encounters Eddie throughout the game, we witness his descent into madness, fueled by a refusal to accept responsibility for his actions. Eddie's guilt manifests as a cold, isolated world, reflecting his emotional detachment and his attempts to distance himself from the consequences of his choices. Through these characters, Silent Hill 2 demonstrates how guilt can consume and transform individuals in vastly different ways, further emphasizing the game's exploration of personal responsibility and the human psyche. Silent Hill 2's multiple endings serve as different resolutions to James's guilt, each offering a unique philosophical interpretation of his journey. The leave ending, often considered the most positive outcome, represents acceptance and the possibility of moving forward. In this scenario, James confronts the truth of his actions, acknowledges his guilt, and chooses to face the future. This ending aligns with the concept of restorative justice, suggesting that true punishment lies not in eternal suffering, but in taking responsibility and working towards redemption. In stark contrast, the in-water ending portrays James's inability to cope with his guilt, leading to self-destruction. This dark conclusion sees James driving into Toluca Lake, effectively committing suicide. Philosophically, this ending can be seen as an extreme form of retributive justice, where James decides that his crime is so unforgivable that only his own death can balance the scales. It raises questions about the limits of punishment and whether some acts are beyond redemption. The Maria ending offers a more complex resolution. Here, James leaves Silent Hill with Maria, a manifestation of his desires and guilt. This ending can be interpreted as a form of escapism, where James chooses to live in a comforting delusion rather than fully confront reality. It raises ethical questions about the nature of punishment and redemption. Is it just for James to find happiness with an idealized version of his wife? Or does this represent a failure to truly atone for his actions? Lastly, the rebirth ending, where James attempts to resurrect Mary through occult means, presents yet another philosophical dilemma. This ending suggests that James' guilt is so overwhelming that he's willing to defy the natural order to undo his actions. It raises questions about the limits of human agency in the face of irreversible actions and the dangerous allure of denying the finality of death. Silent Hill 2's exploration of guilt and punishment continues to resonate with players and critics alike, years after its release. The game's masterful blend of psychological horror and philosophical depth challenges us to confront our own inner demons and question the nature of redemption. As we've seen, Silent Hill is more than just a terrifying setting. It's a mirror that reflects the darkest corners of the human psyche. So the next time you find yourself lost in the fog of your own thoughts, remember the lessons of Silent Hill 2. What guilt are you carrying? How can you find a path to redemption? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the philosophy of gaming. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the real monsters are the ones we bring with us.